I'm Ashira. Welcome back to the Kosher Convert. Baba ganoush is one of my biggest pet peeves in the kosher world. It was always one of my favorite foods. So I was really excited to see it's included in every assortment of salatim at kosher restaurants and grocery stores. The problem is, the stuff that's going around masquerading as baba ganoush is actually this weird eggplant mayonnaise dip. It's not the real thing. It's hard to find real kosher baba ganoush. Luckily, it's easy to make your own. So it's a little difficult to give specific measurements for this recipe because eggplants vary, and so if you get really big ones, you might need a little bit more. If they're kind of small, you might need a little bit less. So just go ahead and adjust the ingredients based on how big the eggplants are and to your taste. I'm working with 5 eggplants, and that is going to give me about 3.5 cups cooked. We also have 8 tablespoons or half a cup of tahina, 5 tablespoons of lemon juice, a tablespoon of olive oil, 1 clove of garlic, and about a teaspoon of salt, and then add to taste afterwards. The only cooking step is to roast the eggplant. Now, if you saw our episode on Baigan Barta, this is going to look really familiar. It's basically the same process. You can roast them under a broiler, in an oven, or even over an open flame on your stove. Now, the stove gives you an amazing smoky flavor, but it makes a huge mess, even if you try to cover everything with foil. And I've done that, and it's really not worth the cleanup. So now I use the oven. Which is fine. You just put them in there at about 450 degrees, turn them over at one point when they look kind of flat and smoky, and just let them cook until they really get smoky and charred. Now, the one thing that you have to do before you put them in the oven is poke little holes, because if they don't have a place to kind of let pressure release, they're going to explode, and that's going to make a huge mess. So this is what your eggplant should look like after you've roasted them. They're kind of flat, they're kind of smoky, you should be able to smell them. Depending on your oven, it might take 45 minutes, it might take an hour and a half, but you're basically going for this look. So when they look like this and they're all nice and soft inside and kind of smoky and charred, that's what you want. Now all we're gonna do is pull out the flesh from each one. So the simplest way to do that is to cut off the top and then make a little slit. I always just kind of make it into 2 separate halves because it's a little easier that way. So it's nice and open. And then, a little messy, but I take a spoon and I just scoop it out into a bowl where I'm going to mix it. And you just want to get all of the pulp from the inside and none of the bitter, sort of charred skin. Okay. Once you get all of the pulp into a bowl, you're going to want to stop and wash your hands. Once you've scraped all of the eggplant pulp out of the skin, you're going to end up with kind of long, stringy bits of the eggplant here. And so before we actually mix it, I always just take a little knife and a fork and just kind of chop it so that it's going to be sort of a uniform chopped mess. And I want to break up that stringiness. So I don't want big, long strands of eggplant. I want kind of just mush. It is really important to do this by hand. I tried it with a food processor once, and the food processor blade pulverized all the seeds that were in here, and it made it really disgusting. So you don't want to pulverize the seeds. Okay, so after you've done that for a few minutes, the texture should look like this. So you're not getting any big strings of eggplant when you pick up little forkfuls. That's it. Now just put the ingredients into the eggplant and mix it really well. All right, so that is basically what it should look like, and it'll taste amazing. So this is what you end up with. It's a simple, delicious, healthy snack. It goes great with raw veggies, pickles, pita, challah, pretty much anything you can serve with hummus. And if you've really only ever tried that weird mayonnaise dip, it's totally worth trying. On a personal note, everyone here at the Kosher Convert wants to wish a big refuah shlema to a longtime viewer in New York, Rabbi Gettinger. May you have a speedy recovery. B'tevon.